Recently I was privileged, and I do mean privileged, to review what I believe to be the finest collection of traps in existence. Now this is not just a collection of traps, but rather it's a portal into the past. A past where people trapped for survival, where products were made to last, and where if you couldn't buy something, you made it yourself. It would take days to show you everything. This collection consists of traps, tools, farm implements, guns and ammunition, axes, and even old sporting goods. This is a private collection. It's not open to the public. The man that built this collection has since passed on to a better place, but it's being maintained by his son, and for that I'm grateful. So let's take a look at some of the more interesting traps. This is an Eskimo seal trap. A hole was cut into the ice, and the dome was placed over the hole. The top of the trap was baited with a fish, and when the seal rose to take the bait, the spikes are free to rotate upwards but not downwards, thus impaling the seal around its neck and holding it up out of the water. This is another example of a similar type trap, but this one, as you can see, is built out of a couple of barrel hoops and some wood. Now this is a Russian beaver trap. It was entirely handmade by Russian prisoners in a prisoner camp, including the chain, which as you can see was twisted together out of wire to make a double loop chain. There are only 27 of these traps known to exist, and this is one of them. This just shows what is possible when you need to make something and you have to make it yourself. Now this is a very interesting trap. This is a handmade leg hold trap. The interesting part about it is the maker wove a fabric style base plate into it for some reason. I have never seen anything like this. Have you? Some of the old traps were brutal by today's standards. In the old days, there was no concept of political correctness. It was all about survival. Now this style of trap is called an alligator trap, not because it caught alligators, but because it resembles the mouth of an alligator when it makes a catch. The jaws on the end, which are lined with teeth, were pried open. Bait was stuck on the end of a trigger, and when the animal reached his head in and took the bait, the jaws slammed shut like the mouth of an alligator. I thought this was an interesting trap. This is a snake trap. It's a simple woven basket with a door at the bottom. And as you can see, the snakes can crawl in to have a nice place to hide, but the door only opens inward and will not open back out, thus trapping the snake in the basket. I would have liked to seen the fun part when you dump the snakes out. It wasn't always about trapping animals. Sometimes men themselves were the quarry. Whether it was a king trapping the starving peasants for trying to take his game, or bounty hunters trying to trap criminals or runaway slaves, sometimes the trap was designed to catch a man. Now this man trap has a pan made of wood, and it pivots on a center spindle or treadle. If you'll notice, it also has teeth on the jaws. This seems like a very dangerous trap to set and to step in. I wouldn't have wanted any part of it. Now this trap was a poison dingo trap from Australia. It was used to kill dingoes, which are wild dogs. It's a typical leg hold trap, but one of the jaws was wrapped with a cloth that had been soaked in strychnine. When the animal was caught, he'd bite at the trap and he'd lick the rag, thus ingesting the poison, resulting in his death. I just hope the trapper wore gloves when he said it. Finally, there's a collection of trap guns as well. Now trap guns were single shot devices that were placed in the woods. They had a bait trigger attached to the gun's trigger. When the animal took the bait, the gun fired, killing the animal. If it was placed close to camp, you could actually hear the shot and you'd know to go collect your kill. Now these are just a few of the hundreds and hundreds of traps in this collection. Now I'll leave you a view with some of the other items as well.